listening to Oilersnation Radio, a member of the Nation network of podcasts and delivered by DoorDash. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Dan, Rick, Tyler, and Bag Milk starts now.
How quickly you unmute the microphones, Tyler. What is that green button you just pushed? What does that one do?
Only one person can talk.
The green button puts like one voice track solo in the headphones. So we could have a bunch of stuff going. And like if I hit this, like only my voice, I think, would be in there.
I can't hear my voice in the headphones.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Roadcaster. Here we are, episode 164, Oilers Nation Radio. Bag Milk, Tyler, Rick, and Dan here. Let's get started with it. Tyler, might as well jump into the big news of the week after Kyle Beach did a interview with Rick Westhead on TSN that same day, that morning. Duncan Keith spoke to the media about the Blackhawks situation, what he did or didn't know. Tyler, I know you've been talking about it a lot on the rundown. We talked about it yesterday on Real Life. Maybe just get us started with what's the latest.
Well, I mean, if we want to go back to earlier this week, we had the conclusion of the investigation. It was made public as well, which I think is an important step. There's no more of this, like, sources are telling me, or like, this may have happened, this may have not happened. There really is like a lot of concrete info in that report, as you'd expect. Kyle Beach came out and revealed his identity as John Doe, which I was a little bit great that he did it. You know, it was a very courageous moment.
Insanely courageous.
Yeah.
Very brave.
And watching that interview with Rick Westhead was like, oh, man. Yeah,
really
hard to get through, but everyone should watch it. But also, he kind of even touched on it. Like, the report kind of outed him in a way.
There should have been some redacted stuff in there.
There should have been I'm not a lawyer.
A lot of stuff should have been redacted, if you ask me.
But, like, you can read through the report, and it goes 20-year-old on the Black Aces, and I think at one point it says his height and weight.
His height and weight, yeah. So that's the end of it. At that point, it is.
So it's just like, okay, you can put it together.
All that stuff should have been redacted. Exactly what happened should have been redacted. We as people don't need to know the details. As long as it went through and someone says, yes, this is definitely sexual assault or something like that, Joe Blow doesn't need to know exactly what happened to him. I know personally, if that was me, I'm fairly certain I would not want the details out there. The fact that it was just the two words sexual assault was out there would probably be enough for me. Yeah. Personally, I didn't like the fact that stuff was out there. I don't know why somebody would want to read that other than just wanting to know all the details, wanting to drive past the collision and see it. It was unnecessary to me.
I think it's important for everybody to hear everything. I think that the transparency right now is going to help move us forward with the culture, and it's going to let people start to see the signs of, you know, the bantering on the ice. That stuff, that was the part that really got me, with the teammates making fun of you for it. That's where it gets frustrating for me. But I think it's important that we have to talk about this stuff, and we have to talk about it in, yes, sometimes graphic terms, because it's just the way that we start to reconcile.
But now he can go anywhere and anybody can yell everything at him now, because everybody knows, or anybody who wants to know can know.
And I think he knew that. And that's why we keep saying this word courageous.
Yeah.
Because he was putting himself out there.
Yeah. So I thought I also think that really helps people like really understand that there is a victim here, right?
100%.
Like John Doe, it's like, okay, it's a nameless player in the organization. Like, I don't know who it is. And the fact that he came out, you saw the emotions that were on his face as he was going back through things and talking about it with Rick Westhead. I thought Kyle Beach coming forward took a lot of strength. So I think
definitely
and
did.
He's getting a lot of love for it, and rightfully so, man, because there's not enough.
I mean, when you're watching that, I was watching the interview like a lot of people with Rick Westhead on TSN, and Rick Westhead's done an amazing job with this entire story, by the way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So is Katie Strang. She deserves a lot of love 100%. As well.
I just wanted to say, like, man, watching Kyle Beach tell his story on that platform was incredibly brave, but heartbreaking at the same time to watch. Just to hear him talk about Aldrich's day with the cup celebration, being in the room, all of that, and how that made him feel, just awful.
And all when he's 20 years old.
Yeah.
And 20 years old, and you know, and he's a child.
6 AHL games, no NHL games.
And everything about the situation is horrible. Obviously here in Edmonton, there was a tie because Duncan Keith played on that team. So when he was asked about it on... what would that have been, Wednesday morning?
Thursday. Yeah.
So Wednesday morning, Duncan Keith was asked about it. He said he didn't find out until lawsuits were filed yesterday. Or he also said he did not participate in the investigation yesterday, which was Thursday. TSN's Ryan Rashog tweeted, following up on a detail from yesterday, Keith was asked by the law firm to be interviewed, but given the option, he declined. His reasoning, according to Keith, is because he did not know anything about the allegation previously and he didn't have anything else to contribute. Personally, this is just my opinion, my thoughts. I have a hard time believing Duncan Keith, who wore a letter for the Chicago Blackhawks at that time, did not know. Even if you listen to what Jonathan Toews said, where he found out the following training camp, if you believe that to be true, I find it hard to believe that Duncan Keith didn't also know at that time. Now, what is Duncan Keith supposed to do about it at that time if he did find out then, since Aldrich was already gone? I don't know. I don't have that information. I have no idea. I don't even know what to say right now. But I think it's
not
just
easy. It's not easy.
I think it's just all of it just seems really weird, and it's dark and it's sad, and it even sucks that, we're starting off the podcast this way, but we have to talk about it. We have to kind of discuss what happened.
Well, and it's important to note too, Bag Milk, as you were saying there as well, is that, and Kyle Beach has pointed it out himself, that his teammates, there's other teammates of his that say that that's not true, and they dispel what has coming out from the players within the NHL mostly. So yeah, there's still a lot of moving parts to this, but I just think that coming forward and moving forward from this, we all have to learn some lessons from this. And I think that that's the biggest takeaway that I hope that everybody has from it, is that there's lessons to be learned. There's things to be watching for, and speaking up and defending people is super important. But yeah, it's tough that we have to start this way, but I think it's an important conversation for the four of us to have too with the listeners.
Yeah, there's a couple other things I wanted to touch on just on this topic. One, like Joel Quenneville probably isn't going to coach or shouldn't ever coach another game in the NHL, and he shouldn't have been coaching his last game. Like, the fact that they didn't just put him on administrative leave and said, hey, you're not coaching until this investigation's done and until your interview with Gary Bettman's done is
weird,
mind-boggling.
That interview should have been pushed up fast so that nobody had to do that. The interview should have been done. If everything came out Wednesday, it should have been done Wednesday or Thursday morning before the game. I agree with you 1,000%. He should not have been coaching that game.
He shouldn't have been coaching that game. So, Quenneville's done. All the people who actively covered it up are out of hockey, I think. Cheveldayoff's the one that's interesting because
this morning.
Yeah, this morning it was announced Kevin Cheveldayoff's cleared. He's not going to get any punishment. So on one hand, out of everyone who was involved in that initial meeting,
what was his exact job at the time?
I think he was their AGM.
Yeah, he was the assistant general manager.
So he's in that meeting. He's the most junior level executive that's in that meeting. And the reason I think Cheveldayoff can keep his job, and again, not that I'm in some high and mighty position to be throwing this down there, but he was the most junior member. That doesn't really exclude him from anything, but he was out of the organization in pretty short order after the Stanley Cup final. And he was gone to Winnipeg, and then even if you were to look back, Aldrich was also out of the organization. So for all Kevin Cheveldayoff knew, he might have said, hey, has this been dealt with? And this is me giving him the benefit of the doubt, and I absolutely shouldn't be. I understand that. But you can see how Cheveldayoff maybe doesn't have to lose his job, but I don't understand how the NHL is not giving him anything for this.
I don't know where you start at trying to look at something for him, because his job, his responsibility here would have been to tell his boss what he knows, right? In these situations, you tell your superior and they deal with it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he kind of got away, because obviously he was not the one in charge. Yeah. Therefore, Quenneville and whoever is above and above and above. But can we just talk about, I get it, Chicago and blah, 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 but the NHLPA knew. Donald Fear knew, and it didn't go anywhere. We're sitting here yelling at, Keith and Taves and whoever else, but there's so many more people involved in this that didn't do a goddamn thing. And now they get to sit there and just throw apology things and say, oh, I'm sorry, I feel bad, blah, blah, blah. That's where we got to be looking. This is never going to solve in all of society, because this is everywhere in this fucking world. But people get away with this. People can be like, oh, they just wash your hands of it somewhere. We sit here pointing at the fucking wrong people. Not the wrong people, but not the most.
Not everybody.
The wrongest people or something.
I think everybody. There's a lot of finger pointing to go around here.
I don't think anybody in this situation is anything but frustrated and angry and sad about it. But I think that there has to come a point where the punishment has to shift into changing your perspectives, identifying where you made your mistakes. You know, for Cheveldayoff, I hope that he has a better understanding of what his misstep was. And he doesn't, you're right, Rick. I don't think he owes anybody an apology except for Kyle Beach and the victims that followed after that. And that's where
I don't know what they're supposed to. I don't know what they're supposed to do. I get it. Like, hey, listen, this is terrible. I'm sorry I wasn't able to take it to. I don't know where he's supposed to go. Like, you tell your boss.
Yep. And then they go do something. And so that's where I think that the biggest thing we have to take away from this, and the reason we have to thank Kyle Beach forever, is that hopefully we start to learn some lessons and we start to identify those situations where maybe there's something we could have done more. And you're right, Rick. I understand what you're saying, that in the structure with Cheveldayoff specifically, he would have followed the procedure there, right? But again, it's just, in the future, now Cheveldayoff is a GM. And so now he knows what needs to be done. Hopefully,
he should have known in the first place.
He should have known. Yeah, but that's you can punish everybody until the end of time. But the way that we fix this and the way that we fix the culture is to start to educate and learn from it.
Yeah, but also the thing too. But the I just want to step in and say the culture thing. Like hockey culture obviously needs to change in terms of the bro business and all that bullshit. But this is a huge
all over the fucking world. This is not a hockey thing.
Absolutely. But I think that hockey needs to say, you know what, this is the time to start signaling.
Society needs to say it.
Society, of course, does.
Because it could happen anywhere. It happens everywhere. Schools, churches, my business, your business, every industry out there, and it never gets dealt with fucking properly.
Well, and also this is...
And that's the fucking problem. And again, Donald Fear knew. 2 people in the PA who are supposed to be taking care of the players knew. At least 2 people.
Yeah,
and nothing is coming of these people.
Yep.
So we're going to sit here and yell at the guys in Chicago for...
And rightfully so.
Not 100%, but 2 people outside the team that weren't going to be affecting the cup run or whatever the fuck you want to talk about. 2 or 3 people at least outside the team did fucking nothing. We have not once brought up the names outside of Donald Fear. Mm-hmm. There's been no questions about them losing their job, stepping down, anything.
Yeah, it's still. But they're not.
But no one's brought it up. Nobody's sat there. You retweet it all the time. Has anyone said, who are those 2 people on the PA that didn't know? Why didn't Donald Fear do something? That's the fucking question right there. Those are the people that are supposed to be out there protecting, and they're not. And that happens everywhere in this fucking world. And until that gets dealt with, it's going to be in hockey. It's in everything.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else you say, really. It's just, this story doesn't just go away because it's the Chicago Blackhawks. It's an NHL thing. This is, like Rick said, is everywhere, unfortunately. And until it's properly addressed, and I don't even know how you do that. I'm not going to pretend to be smart enough to know that. We need to do better. Everybody needs to do better. It's not just an NHL standpoint, it's everything.
And I think sort of this conversation we had here for 15 minutes really sums up a lot of it. Because we go from talking about how courageous Kyle Beach is for coming forward, and there's one emotion, then sick at what happened too, because now we know what happened from the report, and you're sick and you're sad about that, and then you're so fucking mad at the Hawks too. They're still out there trying to dismiss this thing in court.
Yep.
A couple of months ago, they were basically calling Kyle Beach a liar.
Yep.
Telling him that his claims had nothing, that it would, this wasn't a thing.
Because if you do that long enough, the way it's built outside,
they were trying to silence him.
Yeah, but you can do that everywhere.
Yeah, and it just there's so many just really, really head scratching, head shaking, gut wrenching parts about this whole story, and that's why it's been such a dominant story this whole week, and why it's going to be a dominant story for a long, long time. We're not going to forget about this. We're not going to forget about Kyle Beach and what happened to him and how he was coming forward and all that. It's there, and there's no easy way to transition off it either. I've been doing shows all week with Frank at DFO, and it's man, when you dig into this, it is really, really hard to just stop, pivot, and be let's talk hockey now.
I think it's important that the fans keep having the conversation. I think it's important that we keep that conversation going. And this is not...
It's not going to, though.
It's different.
It's going to start to go away.
It's a different situation, but that's what I was going to say, is that we are also sitting here, we've talked about Akeem Alou in the past, and there's a situation that's just coming to light now in Pittsburgh. So it's not, I hope that you're right, Tyler, and I hope that this isn't just a news cycle that's going to end, because we have to keep talking about it. But I do also think that we have to keep keep trying to, enjoy the rest of the sport. And
it's not on the sport.
But at the same time,
it's in the sport, sure, but the sport is in the society. But this is a societal thing. It's so much bigger than hockey itself. Yep. And if we don't fix it out there, then hockey or basketball or football or gymnastics or swimming or churches or schools or this industry or that industry, it's never going to get fixed. It needs to be dealt with on a global level. And until we do it that way, you can sit there and finger point this culture, that culture, whatever culture. It is everybody's culture.
So I think just to end this off, I'll just encourage. So the article at Oilersnation.com for the podcast, I'm going to include Kyle Beach's interview with Rick Westhead right there in the article. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch it. It's important. It's heavy. It's just over 20 minutes, but it's important that I think it's very important that you watch it. And just like Tyler said, you can't transition from something like this. So we'll just take a quick break. Tyler, maybe play a little something, and then we'll come back with the normal stuff. All right, we're back. Tyler, we are going to get back into Oilers Nation Radio, the regular programming. Do you have a delicious debate for us today for our friends at Oodle Noodle, sir?
I do have a delicious debate for you. Shout out to Oodle Noodle as well. And if you team up Oodle Noodle and DoorDash and use the promo code OODLE2021,
Ding dong.
you get $7 off a order of $30 or more.
And you can use that promo code 10 times. Combo box. I promise you, it is good value. You'll feed yourself. You'll feed your friends. Mm-hmm. Everybody's happy.
A noodle box is great cold in the morning too.
100%.
And that's what I've been saying.
Pad
so like
Thai or the
Saturday night Oilers game, you don't want to cook. You know you're gonna have a couple bevies during the game. Obviously, Halloween weekend. Go order $30 worth of Oodle Noodle. Use the promo code. It's down to $23 right there. You basically get 2 meals. Plus, the servings are huge.
Breakfast for free.
Breakfast for free and lunch for free, probably, if we're being honest. Anyways, the delicious debate, because we're getting sidetracked here. Do you want to see any lineup changes for the Oilers before the game against the Vancouver Canucks on Saturday night?
Ooh, I like that. Back to Oodle Noodle.
What if we already
Rick, toss the leftovers in your air fryer, buddy. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna write that down in my hand, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Air fryer.
It's legit.
Genius.
Leftovers. Tyler got me on that as soon as I got my air fryer. Legit. All right, so line combos. There
is a change already, though.
Yeah, they're talking about one, but we can talk about it.
What are we talking about? Hit us up.
Gregor's saying on the fourth line it might be Benson coming in for Lamborghini Perlini.
Yes.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, I like seeing give Benson some opportunities here.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Benson's got to get some opportunities. He's got to get some at-bats. I don't think he's looked out of place. I don't think he's shined necessarily.
He's only
either.
had the one game, though.
And I keep forgetting Perlini's on the team.
Exactly. So I think that, you know what, if you're going to slot Benson in, he's earned the opportunity with the way he played through training camp and preseason. Why not?
There was a couple of shifts there in the game against the Flyers where McDavid did end up playing with Perlini and Turris, and it was not good.
Well, yeah.
It was noticeably not good.
And that's exactly it. Like, the only time we've noticed Perlini specifically for me, like the Lamborghini Perlini thing was great in the preseason. So far in the regular season, he's been very, very quiet. And I get he's not playing a lot, so maybe that's not entirely his fault, but you got to do what you can with the minutes you get, and he hasn't been doing that. Turris, at least, is playing a bit of a role on the power play. I've noticed him getting in on the forecheck a little bit more. Like, I haven't hated Kyle Turris' game, and that's not to say I've hated Brendan Perlini's game. I just think you can very easily justify him coming out of the lineup because they've been getting anything from the fourth line.
So what we're looking at is Benson, Shore, Turris for a fourth line tomorrow.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd do with that lineup, though? Like, would you...
Yes.
What do you got?
I'd bring McLeod up to add in there and drop one of the two. I think he just needs to add some more offense into that line if you want Benson to succeed. If you want that offensive guy like McLeod to succeed in that line, you need 2 offensive type players, and then you can put your Shore.
So in your scenario, Rick, are you dropping Shore or are you dropping Turris?
I might ask Shore to go play the right wing or Benson to play the right wing, put McLeod in there. Yeah, just run the 3 of them, figure it out from there. I know McLeod wasn't great with faceoffs, so probably Short taking the draws. Maybe you can swap after the draws are done, but I would prefer to see the McLeod, Shore, Benson line. I think there's a lot of speed there. I think you have some offensive capabilities there. The only thing that scares me is those guys got to find a way to play as effectively as possible with only 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes of ice time.
Can I just say that I've missed us debating fourth line roster changes?
You got to. Because if I'm looking at the lineups for tomorrow, Dan. Hyman, McDavid, Puljujarvi, I'm not touching.
Nope.
Nuge, Draisaitl, Yamamoto. Now, here's something with Yamamoto on the right side. Cold now.
10 games at least.
Hey, man, I'm giving him time.
Yeah.
He's had 40 games and he's not producing.
I'm just asking questions here. So, Tyler, you're getting fired up.
10 games at this season.
Let's walk it through. Let's say Yamamoto needs to get flipped. Who are you putting there, Tyler? Are you flipping Cassian or
Fogel?
But you're taking up that line, though. That line is so good.
They weren't that good against Philly.
Okay, but the other games they were.
I would rather have my second line get going than have my third line stay rolling.
Was the offense that bad against Philly?
I thought the third line was on the ice for a couple.
I feel like they dominated them for the most part, and there was just a ton of block shots by Philly. There
was a ton of block shots by Philly. I also think that just the Oilers passed up some chances to shoot. Probably
that's
a little bit.
I will agree with. Yeah, nope. That is a fair point. The passing, but I felt like the offense was there to win the game, and we just had some horrendous gaffes.
We said this last week. They still. I know they've only played one game since, but they haven't had a good game yet. A good all-around game. That game where you're like, yeah, that's the Oilers. Yeah, that's a team that could possibly get in the push for the cup in the final.
After I watched that first period, I felt like the Oilers didn't belong, or the Flyers didn't belong on the ice with the Oilers.
Yeah, the Oilers were the better team against Philly. I get that. I'll actually say, they may have even played a perfect game, but the win against Vegas was impressive.
Yeah.
That one, I give them an A grade for. Maybe not an A+, but I think for the second of back-to-backs against Vegas, that's an A performance. But let's
walk through it, Tyler. First line, you changing?
No.
Second line, you changing?
Yes, I want to put Fogel up with Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins and see if that's a line that.
So then, what does your third line look like?
My third line is Yamamoto, Cassie, and Derek Ryan.
Do we have a lot of?
I respectfully don't agree.
Why not?
Do we have a lot of evidence of Fogel playing his off wing and then one of the two on the third line playing their off wing?
Yamamoto could probably flip, and Fogel has.
Okay.
I'm not too worried about it, and I mean, Yamamoto can't get any less effective.
Fogel has, you said that with certainty. Do you know this for sure, or are you just making things up and we all believe you?
Yeah, man.
We once got a player from that exact same team that Fogel came from.
Eric Cole.
We put him on the wrong side, and the guy might as well playing no goddamn stick. You put him on the right side, and the guy was like fucking Wayne Gretzky. You put him on the left side where we were going to play him all the time, and the guy couldn't buy a goddamn
I wonder
goal.
how many listeners said Eric Cole at the same time or right before I
just
did.
Everybody knew it was
I
Eric
think
Cole
everybody,
right
when you said we got one player from them, that everybody was like, yeah, Eric Cole. But my thing is with Yamamoto, while I feel that sentiment sometimes that you do, Tyler, every time I get that feeling for a second, he then turns around and just stick lifts the guy at the right point or is dogged on that puck retrieval in the zone, and he makes up for his mistake in my mind.
No, he doesn't, because he's playing in the top six with Leon Draisaitl. If all you're going to do is forecheck hard and create turnovers, but you can't score, he doesn't.
Chances for that
I don't
team.
Give a shit if you're creating chances for 50 games. Score some damn chances.
There's nobody on this team that's going to replace him that's going to do better than him.
Warren Fogel will.
Warren
Fogel skates better, and he's a bigger body, and he's shown he has better offensive touch.
But he's on his off wing.
He can play that wing. I'm literally looking up his fucking line mates in Carolina last year.
I see him. He's doing it right now.
Yeah, he is doing that right now. The thing about Dave, I don't know how much it matters really that a guy is on his off wing too necessarily. I know we've been trained
picking up the puck on your own end
to believe
that breakout pass.
Yeah, that one. But these guys are also, they're pro athletes.
But you're also got a pro athlete coming down at you too.
Yeah, that's fair. But I just don't know if you're putting Fogel on his off wing, how much it really matters. I guess if we're walking through this exercise here.
Eric Cole.
No, you don't got to tell me about Eric Cole, man. I lived it. I remember it. All right, well, Tyler's looking up his Warren Fogel.
Yeah, because he's played with Martinook and McGinn. And those two guys, he would have been left wingers.
All right, Dan, what do you think? You changed anything up in your lines?
I wouldn't touch the forwards. I would put in Chris Russell.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Chris Russell instead of Cuckoo?
Slater Cuckoo was good last game.
I didn't think that he was, and his instinct when he gets beat is to take a penalty, and I hate that. That's like a Calgary Flames mentality. If you get beat, just lose. Don't turn around and tackle the guy. He took down the one time he actually did take a penalty. He just tackled the dude that beat him clean. It doesn't make sense to me. And the guy got the shot off, by the way.
I bet you it wasn't as good of a shot though. He's being tackled.
Yeah, that's true.
I just would put Russell in. That's the only tweak that I'd make. And obviously, I'd like to change the goaltender. And that's not to say that I hate Mikko Koskinen's game. It's just for me, he didn't learn in that game what his mistake was.
Slater Cuckoo's taken one penalty this year,
and it was that one.
Ooh.
If you can shit on the team for having a bad game against Philadelphia.
When did I shit on them?
You just said you didn't like Perlini's game because he played poorly against Philadelphia.
Perlini hasn't done shit in the entire regular season, Dan. Don't put words in my mouth. I said they were the better team against Philly.
He'll do it himself.
You didn't like the fourth line against Philly.
No, I haven't liked the fourth line once all year. That's different than being like, Cuckoo takes too many penalties. Oh, what's one
No, I said I didn't like his style of getting beat and then taking that penalty right afterwards.
For the record, Brendan Perlini played a whopping .431 against the Flyers.
Chris Russell has has a penalty, and he's played half as many games.
Yes, but I like Chris Russell's game better.
So Dan would put in Chris Russell. Tyler is going to have an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Rick, are you making any changes to the lineup?
Yeah, I'm going to I'm putting Benson and McLeod in on the fourth line. I'm leaving Yamamoto for about 10 games to try and figure it out. I understand it's probably a little bit longer than some people like to see, but I think we have the luxury of being able to do so with that first line, the third line, the power play. I think you have a little bit extra time to allow it to happen. After that, then you have some issues to deal with. But
who are you taking out for those two? Sorry.
Oh, I've been taking out Perlini and Turris, and I like the speed of Shore in there with those two guys.
Would McLeod be the center or Shore?
I'm going to have Shore taking the face-offs, and then if you want to swap them up midway, go right ahead. But I just believe Shore is better in the dot than McLeod.
If I'm, just to wrap this up for the delicious debate for Oodle Noodle, I would put in Benson. Why not? I don't think Perlini's done anything to necessarily merit the spot or say lock it in, written in pen. So why not? Benson. I like Bouchard up on the first pairing with Darryl.
Great.
Keith Ceci is what it is. The third pairing is an adventure.
Barry, I thought Barry was pretty good, especially in the offensive zone.
Man, that goal he scored too. We're going to talk about the Philly game here right away, but I thought Barry looked better against Philly than he has.
Yeah, because he
looked
pissed
like
off.
He wanted out of the bottom.
He was pissed off because he got knocked down the line.
To disagree with Dan, I would probably have Cuckoo.
Yeah.
Cuckoo's way better in the offensive zone. He moves just as well as Chris Russell does, and he's a bit more of a physical presence.
Sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
No, I was just going to say, I'm cool actually with Yamamoto staying in the top six as well. Like, I don't have a huge beef with it because, like Dan said, he does get in on the forecheck well, and he does do.
He does need to cash it. The reality is you can't survive in the top six just generating chances.
Are you looking at putting a different goaltender in Saturday if you don't think Smyth is ready to go for
I'm
Monday?
not playing Stuart Skinner in an NHL game. I'm playing Koskinen.
He looked fine last year, didn't he? I know we won that game.
He played against Ottawa.
I think they got 4 or 5. I think in that one, right?
Yep.
I'm not sitting a goalie who has a .926 save percentage through 4 appearances or whatever for an AHL goalie.
So you don't think that part of last game was that overload, too much work already, right?
No,
I said that last year too.
Well, let's talk about the loss to Philly because it was the Oilers' first loss of the season. But first, we got to give a shout out to our friends at Cornerstone Insurance. Go to cornerstoneins.ca. They've got a new tool on the website, Dan. Something I know you're going to be excited about. They got a quote finder for you, so you can get yourself an insurance quote. Comes up in a couple of minutes.
7 years ago.
Not nearly that long anymore. Minutes. We're talking minutes, people. cornerstoneins.ca, and of course, they've got all the products you could ever need. Citizens of the nation get themselves a little discount. Buttons on the left-hand side of the screen. cornerstoneins.ca. So let's just jump into that game against Philly. First loss of the season. Personally, I thought the Oilers played well enough to probably win the game. They needed a save for Mikko. But I'm not as mad as Mikko as some people are because the back-to-backs, I thought he played very, very well. The game winner, I did not like whatsoever. That's a shot he should stop. I didn't like the 5-hole. It was straight through. That was a slap shot from the top of the circle.
No,
clear lane out. He has to stop that. I didn't like the second goal where everybody's talking about on the broadcast how Mike Smyth is teaching Mikko how to handle the puck and all that. And like, okay, I get it. Mike Smith's very good at it. That's his thing. Mikko, just stay in the net, buddy.
Yeah.
Just
Mikko's come out a lot more in this. One definitely bit him. That one bit. I think he had 2 actually that bit him.
Yeah. I was more annoyed about the second one than Giroux's the first goal, but your point is correct. He's wandering out more. So just, hey man, stay in your net, bro.
Well, that's my thing was for him. I would hope that after the first one and especially after the second one, you're definitely going to err on the side of stay in the net. And there was a couple of more opportunities.
But you don't change your game plan when something like that goes.
But it felt like to me with him, he was pushing it further. Like he was going out for pucks that were getting slapped around the boards as if he could stop those, which Smyth can. And I just don't have the same confidence in Koskinen. And that's just not his game. Like Bag Milk said, that's Mike Smith's game. Play the puck. What does that say?
I like it a little bit.
I can't see that from here.
I went to go look up what Koskinen's stats are this year, and NHL.com just says Mikko Koskinen does not have any. He has no NHL stats.
They just refuse to acknowledge that Mikko Koskinen exists on the Oilers website. on the NHL website.
It's a holiday there.
Koskinen had a rough game, but he has a 926 save percentage and a 262 goals.
So I'm going back to Costco tomorrow for sure.
Going back. Even if Smyth is 90%, I'm going back to Koskinen.
What if Smith's like 70%? And Costco's going to have to pick up say all 3 games next week.
Then
I knew I'd find it sooner or later.
I'd still go with him on Saturday. And if Smyth still isn't healthy, like
Nashville Rangers.
Do we have any update on Smyth at all? Like, is he skating?
Yeah, he was practicing in pads today.
He had a full practice, I think.
He was practicing with Schwartz yesterday, I think, too.
Okay, so...
But he's close. I think he'll be ready to go by next week.
Looking at the beginning of November, we got Vancouver, obviously, tomorrow. So that's the 30th of October. Monday is a home game against the Kraken. Wednesday is Nashville. Then the 5th is Kevin Lowe night. That's the Rangers.
So I'd go Koskinen Saturday. If Smyth isn't ready, I go Skinner on Monday, then Koskinen Wednesday, and then Smyth next Friday.
I wouldn't mind that. Because then you're putting Stuart Skinner in a spot to at least succeed because...
But you're also breaking up the 3 games in 5 days for Koskinen.
And you're taking that week with 3 home games and ideally giving every goalie a start. If Smyth isn't healthy. If Smith's healthy, I'm going Smyth, Seattle, Smyth, Rangers, Koskinen in the middle against Nashville.
I bet you if Koskinen is the reason we lose Saturday, Smyth plays Monday. I think he
can't fuck with his health, though.
I know, but he's one of those guys that just comes and says that he's good to go even if he has a leg that's hanging off.
What else did you guys think of the game against Philly? It's funny how good the power play is. And when they don't score on almost every fucking chance they get, you're like, "Wait, come on, man, what's going on?" They went 1 for 4 against Philly. Would have been nice to get at least another one to get the extra point. But what else did you guys see in that game against Philly?
Philly, absolutely. I was blown away by their shot blocking. There was one point in the game where they had 19 block shots and 18 shots on Koskinen. So, that's an impressive game. And when you're getting in front of Evan Bouchard's shot and McDavid,
God, Dad can clap it, can he?
It's unreal.
But there's got to be something to be said about avoiding the shot blockers as the offensive team there. If you're just getting shot blocked all the time, that's frustrating. You got to find a way to get those around through. You got to find a way to get those on net.
So from the NHL side, just to Dan's point, before you continue, 26 blocks for the Flyers compared to 7 for the Oilers.
It just felt like it feels like this team is getting the idea of, you shoot the puck and good things happen. And that's just a game where, Koskinen had a couple gaffes. The offense missed on a couple shots. Like Turris had a wide open shot on a one-timer, wide open. Yeah, Nuge missed it. So it's just and Yamamoto again, we talked about it a few times. He's snake bit. So yeah, I didn't hate the game. There was a couple of situations where I thought they could have capitalized. Tomorrow,
the Oilers are playing Vancouver for the second time this season, first time since the season opener. Tyler, when you're looking at the Canucks, I know you're going to do the giant pregame show with Caroline tomorrow. What are you seeing with the Canucks? Because to me, they're an interesting team. I'm thinking about the wrap-up. I got the GDB for tomorrow at Oilersnation.com. I'm looking at them, and they're a team with so many players that can burn you, but they can also look like complete dog shit at the same time. So they're a really weird team to try and figure out. Not to mention Demko's been excellent for them in net, so he can steal a game on his own. This is going to be a tougher one for the Oilers than I think maybe some people think.
I think you're going to see a different team come out and play them. I don't think you'll see the team the way they played Philly. I think you'll see them come out a little hungrier. They're on the road again. It's a divisional game. They have at least one under their belt without, fucking 4.5 weeks in between games. You're going to see a different version of the Oilers come out tomorrow. I think they can put up 2 or 3 in the first period, and I think that one's going to look a little bit easier for us.
Do you guys think that they've bucked this long overhaul or long off time issues where they come back and they just don't necessarily have the best?
They played good against.
I did not say anything bad against the Flyers. They were a little bit snake bitten, couldn't buy that goal.
I just wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were on that.
I think that's kind of an older fan type of thing that we have PTSD about.
Yeah, that's fair. Sorry, back to the Canucks.
I didn't think, against Philly, I was worried about them having no energy just because I know what happens to your body after a bender in Vegas. I don't care if you're a pro athlete. I know what goes on.
That's fair. It's
in
a little
the days
different
following
with the Vegas
a trip
flu.
home to Vegas. Yeah. So I was worried about their energy, but they were fine. They made mistakes, unfortunately, that ended up in the back of the net, which is something that they can't do tomorrow against Vancouver because there's guys like Elias Pettersson who's having a slow start for the Canucks right now. They're over at Canucks Army. They're freaking out about it a little bit. But the guy can score if you give him the chance. Brock Besser can score. Bo Horvat seems to be an Oilers killer these days. Like, the Canucks have players that can fuck with you if you let them.
And they have former Edmonton Oiler Alex Chiasson.
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 It's like
Chai is on.
Chai is
the tea.
on. Yeah, Chai tea. He was the answer. We don't need him to be tomorrow. So the Oilers just need to tighten up the details, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Both these teams, I was just looking at some of the numbers, like not great 5-on-5 teams, neither of them. So if you're the Oilers, just try to get this thing into a spot where, your special teams can come through, right? Play the game tied 2-2 at 5-on-5. Get your power play to get you a goal or two, and you'll win the hockey game. If your power play doesn't come through and the goaltending's below average, you're probably not winning the hockey game. But
this team needs to win a game 5-on-5 for once.
Well, They do, yeah. Like they need to get better at producing and preventing at 5-on-5. Although I will say they've done a good job of keeping teams kind of the outside for the most part. But that again comes back to the goaltending, right? If you keep teams to the outside,
not minding the Korski, as Dave Tippett said.
Korski and the Fensky.
The Fensky.
That was funny.
I like that.
Yeah, the Canucks power play isn't very good.
I do love how easily triggered the analytics community is when it comes to that kind of stuff. Because I looked at it, I was like, Dave, come on, man. But then at the same point, I'm watching Twitter, and I'm just like, oh, well, you got all of you.
He's just sitting back scrolling through Twitter in his own office there, right? Like, just that evil Mr. Burns laugh.
His burner account, he's poking the bear with people.
Canucks are like bottom third in power play percentage and PK percentage. So if you're the Oilers,
you need to beat these guys.
Yeah, play them straight at 5-on-5, beat them on the special teams, and that's probably the recipe for success.
I would say also just stay disciplined, because while their power play isn't great right now, why wake it up?
Yep.
Why wake it up? So around the horn really
Speaking
quickly.
Of waking up.
Yeah, Tyler.
That was a big yawn, huh?
Unbelievable, this guy. Get some sleep at night.
I know.
Around the horn real quick. Tomorrow, Oilers, Vancouver Canucks. Score predictions. Nation Dan.
5-1.
Rick?
Edmonton.
6-2 Edmonton.
Trevor?
5-3 Oilers.
4-2 Oilers, as always. All right. So. I love it.
How many times have you used this now?
3 years in a row.
Yeah.
People will figure it out eventually. All right. Before we move on to Ask the Idiots, I do want to bring up a little piece of Oilers history and just get everybody's take on it. 20 years ago this week, the Todd McFarlane jersey was released for the Oilers. And Brownlee wrote about it. Zach wrote about it on OilersNation.com. Reading through the comments, people were pretty split on that jersey, and I don't really get it. Personally, I love the Oilers logo, like the OG logo. Love it. But I'm also not opposed to mixing it up, having something a little bit different. And I thought that jersey at that time was cool. It was different. The creator of Spawn fucking designed it. He was part of the OEG at that time. I thought it was all cool. And if you read Brownlee's article on OilersNation.com, you see how OEG was not a rich ownership group at that time. And those jerseys sold very well, and they needed it to, because they needed to pay bills. So I just want to know what your guys' thoughts are on that jersey then. Maybe we were all kids at the time. Tyler wasn't even alive, I don't think.
Yes, it was. That was actually the first Oilers jersey I ever owned.
And I want to know,
I ever had.
20 years now of hindsight, what you think about it looking back. Dan, I'll start with you.
Well, my first ever McFarlane and only ever McFarlane jersey was stolen from me, so that still hurts.
Did you have somebody on it?
Kevin Lowe signed it. Yes.
Wait. But I
lived in Halifax.
Wait. I think I read the tweet. Did you not lend it and then they not return it?
I gave it to her to wear for Halloween.
Yeah.
And then she didn't ever return it. Said that she tried to return it, but didn't.
That was a tough lesson for young Dan, which was then that probably have some hoodies that are out there missing somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So
if you're a young gentleman listening to this right now, don't lend out your hoodies.
Yep.
Or at least charge a deposit. Sorry, Dan, I'm cutting you off.
That's okay. Yeah. So for me, it was I love that jersey. I don't get the hate that like it's a jersey that the Edmonton Oilers wore. Like just recognize it for that. Like it's fine.
Rick?
But yeah.
Meh. It was cool at the time. Royal blue or nothing right now.
Yeah, I'm still with you. Like royal blue, like it's right there. Give it to me, for fuck's sakes.
Well, I was thinking about this. Like, what are the? There's got to be like 5 polarizing debates within Oilers fandom that we could
delicious debates
hit on. Yes, because it's always jersey talk. What else can you talk about that could polarize the Oilers fandom?
The Pronger thing.
Yep, Pronger is still probably
analytics.
Up there,
Analytics.
yeah, analytics for sure.
Taylor Hall.
Yeah,
Hall's
the Hall
there,
trade. Yeah.
Just Taylor Hall, period.
Yeah,
the
that
fifth
too. My take on the McFarlane jersey.
80s Oilers.
Yeah, maybe.
The same people.
Club.
The same people who love it because it's nostalgia, right? For them, the same people who love it, if that jersey never existed and they released it today, would hate it.
I would love
Probably.
it. I'd probably love it, actually.
I think there's a lot of people who just like it because, it was different, is nostalgic. They were
That's
teenagers
why I
when it was around.
it was different.
And I think there's a lot of people where if they put it on now, they're like, oh, money grab.
And it's also something you can clamor about. It's something, tell the team to give it back to us. If it was there available, then they'd be like, kind of turn their nose up to it. But because you can't really get it, they want to create a stink about it.
Not everybody's out here buying 5 Ryan Nugent-Hopkins jerseys, You
know what I'm pissed about is I got the reverse retro. And tell me how many times they're wearing it this year.
0.
That jersey's
what the
sick,
fuck?
dude. That should be their full-time road jersey.
That was actually kind of bummed. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, it was on this podcast or if it was on Real Life, I don't remember. But I said if Ryan Nugent-Hopkins signed an extension, I was going to buy all his jerseys.
This podcast.
I can't get the reverse retro. I can go and order a blank.
Order it on Fanatics and then take it to...
So I was talking to the folks at the Sports Closet, and there's getting the numbers and the lettering for those is more difficult than you probably think. So the ones that I've got coming are the standards.
Pro-Am.
Might have to.
That's what I did with
But I did buy 3 jerseys.
Orange 98.
I did buy 3 jerseys. So there. The bet is there. And you're going to see some content out of it.
The prophecy has been fulfilled.
That's right. So
are you gonna one day do the whole t-shirt cam thing in the stands and after Nuge scores a hattie? Are you gonna dancing the stairs and taking one and then another one
for
every
Rogers
third
place?
one?
And you have to wear all
and the one underneath.
But the last one is just it's painted on. It's painted on.
Yeah.
Every time.
You could do the royal blue. You could do the McFarlane. Whatever you want for that.
Every nation vacation from now on, Bag Milk.
Could you imagine?
I roll in jerseys on.
Well, I actually own 5 now.
Just waddles in.
Could you imagine I roll into the next nation vacation, which fingers crossed is in Nashville in April, and I'm wearing 5 Nudes jerseys, and he scores, and I'm just ripping them off? Oh man, what a time to be.
Did we talk to Jay and make this a 2-week trip too? By the way, I think we could all use a couple extra days there.
Based on his food touring, we need an extra couple of days.
Yo, there's a Taco Bell Cantina there.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Okay.
Some good audio right there.
Tyler's fired up about the cantina.
I'm excited. I want to go so bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was for you guys last weekend. It was Vegas last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that hurt.
It was rough.
That hurt.
All right. That's why we got to get to Ask the Idiots so we can move on and get over the sadness that comes with a missed trip to Vegas. BustersPizza.ca, they're here for you. I want to shout out to our friend at Surveyor Brett, friend of the podcast. He won that $50 GC. We have got another one to give away next week. Tyler, write that down. He's busy.
He's writing, don't worry.
Ask the Idiots. So if you want to participate, if you want to get entered into the draw to win the $50 Buster's Pizza GC, you just got to hit me up with a question for Ask the Idiots. Remember, don't send them to the podcast socials. Send them directly to me because I don't want the boys to see the questions. This is right off the top of their head. If you go to busterspizza.ca, you can see all of their delicious offerings as well as the location of their 11 spots around the city. There's one near you, promise. All right. This question was submitted from Evan, not Evan, the former intern, different Evan. Sorry, Evan, wherever you are. If you were to put toughness, skill, chemistry, and coaching into a percentage out of 100 in terms of importance.
Okay, we need to write these down.
Write those down. I need a whiteboard.
Hit me with them again here.
So you've got toughness, skill, chemistry, and coaching. Those are your 4 options. And you've got a percentage out of 100. You've got to delegate those 4 items. So you can do 25% each, equal importance. You can do more importance for coaching or skill or whatever. Mm-hmm. How would your breakdown go, Tyler?
So just off the top of my head here, so there's 4 things. So, an average of...
We also get some Chuck math here, so this is going to be good.
Average of 25 each. Skill, I would say, is 60% of it in the NHL. No, I'm going higher.
This is what you want.
Yeah, this is
your team together.
70% skill. That's the most important part for me. And then I would do 5% toughness, and then 15%, 10% coaching, and 10% chemistry. Yeah, so I think I'd go 70% skill.
You're down 5%.
Well, I still have an extra 5%. You all knew what was coming.
Your Chuck math.
70% skill. Write that down so I don't mess up the math.
50% pain.
5% toughness. 12.5% chemistry. And 12.5% coaching. Bang. That'd be it.
There's Tyler. Dan, you're split.
I'm just finishing my Chuck math. I'm saying toughness, 20%, skill, 40%, chemistry, 35%, and coaching 10%.
Welcome to the
Chemistry?
welcome to the late 90s.
You think if you just throw a bunch of like AHLers out there who like each other.
Vegas Golden Knights proved my chemistry point. I think that team came together and had all kinds of chemistry and not necessarily all the skill in the world, and they blew it away. You disagree with me, Rick?
They had a lot of skill.
They were skilled.
I think they had some good skill, but most of it was like
Jonathan Marsa show.
let's make for sure.
David Prawn's
underrated.
David Prawn's underrated as hell. William Karlsson had a 40-goal season.
How is David Prawn getting better as he gets older? It doesn't make sense.
It feels like he was on the Oilers like 20 years ago.
I know. Like, what the fuck?
Well, he was the Yakupov whisperer.
Yeah,
that was his last shift.
No, that was
Derek Roy.
That was Derek
Roy.
Roy.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
I said Derek Ryan. Derek Roy. Rick, what is your 100% split? Skill, chemistry, coaching, toughness.
Also, Tyler,
80%
you rolled your
skill.
eyes at my 20% toughness, Tyler, and we're
I
coming
did.
back to that.
80% skill, 10% chemistry, and 5 and 5.
There you go.
You've
that
got
100?
good chemistry and got good skill. Your coach is pretty useless.
I'm going to say,
This
I'm going to
ain't
say 60% skill, 20% chemistry, 15 coaching, 5 toughness.
Dude, go back to ice hockey, like the original Nintendo. You had the skinny guys, the mediums, and the fat guys. If you had three skinnies, you'd get knocked down around, but you'd win that game. But you'd win that game. You had 3 of the fatties. You're not winning. You may win all the puck. You may win all the board battles, but you're not winning the game. He's got a hell of a slap shot, but he just can't. He's not as mobile.
The video games have handed out the Stanley Cup to the Toronto Maple Leafs the last 6 years.
Not the ones when I'm playing. That's just when you let the computers take over.
That's why algorithms don't work. All right.
Sorry, I have to come back to this, Bag Milk.
Yes.
Tyler, you don't like toughness on a team? You don't think toughness has a place in hockey?
Certainly not 20%.
See, but I don't look at toughness as just being physical toughness. I think it's mental toughness too. I honestly believe that toughness is a part of there's
Skill
a reason
beats
that
it,
the
though.
guy skill absolutely plays a role, but
Skill beats it.
Connor McDavid has a quote, and I can't remember it specifically.
Shows you how
I saw
important
it.
it was.
I saw it in a gymnasium
Drink
when I
the
voted.
pink, I believe
in a
it is.
gymnasium when I voted, by the way.
There's a
here in
Connor
Edmonton.
McDavid quote on a gym in Edmonton.
I'm going to get a picture of it.
I'm surprised. Why not?
Thelma,
I'm surprised the school's not
Thelma
named after him
Shalafu.
already.
I just go around to schools and write things on their
Junior
walls.
high
so
school.
they're not like-
Yeah, exactly.
But it says something like, skill can only take you so far. It's the drive to do it. And I think that that's where the toughness comes into it.
So
Question
now you're
number-
now you're just like fudging.
But
what
also,
toughness is.
but also the New York Islanders prove that point. I don't think that's a very skilled team, but that's a very good team.
They're super deep.
And
Coaching.
and
They're
I
well
think that
coached.
comes into chemistry as well.
Coaching.
And then the Dallas Stars, same thing. Not a ton of
For the record,
high-end
neither of
skill
those
there,
teams have won anything.
but they've
Question-
both been within a step of it.
Number 2.
Oh, here's your ribbon then.
Ask the idiots for Buster's Pizza. Dan, I'm starting with you. Would you flip a struggling Barry plus Yamamoto for a proven top 6 winger?
Who is it?
Yeah, obviously they didn't give you an example.
No, it just says Bouchard takes Barry's spot and Broberg takes 3rd pairing. And that's from Mitch.
For Raquel,
You're just trying to make friends with Tyler again. Tyler, what do you
Tyler
think?
hasn't
about
made
this
eye contact with me in a while.
No, I just the whole idea of trade Barry and Yamamoto.
You're not trading Barry, by the way, because he's here for 4 years.
3.
3.
CC's here for 4.
Yeah. Don't get it twisted. The problem with trading Barry is you can't go to a rebuilding team, right? And be like, hey, you want Tyson Barry? Why they'll just be like, no, we don't want the $5 million 30-year-old.
You're telling me you don't think he's tradable in the offseason? Whether you would do it or not, I can honestly see it.
He might be
happening.
tradable in the offseason.
Yeah.
But coming up to the deadline,
I see.
if you're moving him to a contender,
Yeah,
that just
I
doesn't
feel
make a ton of sense. If you're trying to get cap relief, you're moving Koskinen, and at the deadline, you're not moving Barry. This summer, yeah, I could see it. At the deadline, though, the idea of flipping him to a
You do not
rebuilding
move
team,
2 roster players at the deadline. For
Yeah,
something.
that just doesn't happen.
I get that. But let's just say it's the offseason right now. Are you good? Are you cool with making that trade?
Oh, yeah. Because I think Bouchard
I do
is
that
more
in
than
a
capable of taking
second.
if you're sitting there in the offseason and, it's Jake DeBrusk for, Yamamoto and Barry. I do that. Probably. I just said it off the cuff because I do that a lot.
I don't know. I think you get some more offensive skill.
I think it'd be close.
Rick, would you make that trade? You're a Yamamoto guy. Barry plus Yamo 4.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously comes down to who the other player is, but there's definitely players in the league that I would make that deal for.
This whole offseason, we talked about how we don't want to trade away guys at the bottom of their potential. I just wanted to
sell
throw
low.
that out there.
That's what
Like,
everybody does.
it's tough, and I know you were just presented with a trade by somebody randomly, and
That was
so
Mitch.
it's not like from Mitch.
But there's players in the league that you'd sign off to right now.
Of course, but that's the thing is then the other side of the conversation is who says
It
no,
comes down
right?
to who it is for. So technically, yes, I'd make that trade, but it's not going to be super duper easy.
Right.
Question number 3. Ask the idiots for Buster's Pizza. Rick, I'm starting with you. Assuming injuries have never been an issue and Clefbaum had been able to develop just like Darnell Nurse has, who do you think would have been the better all-around hockey player? That one's from Blake. I'll just throw
That's
my answer.
that's actually a tough one.
Well, it depends on what you value because it's two different games.
Yeah, like Dan wants 20% toughness,
Exactly. So I'm going Darnell.
so I would go Clefbaum probably.
That's really tough, man. I mean, you're talking two players who would be playing
good players.
the same spot.
Yep.
Who
God, I
bring
wish we had Clefbaum. Fuck this.
different
defense
tools.
conversation.
Different tools. You know what? When it comes down to just stats on the paper, I think I'd have to go with Nurse because he's just put. I don't know this for sure at all, by the way, but I feel like he's just put up more offense than Clefbaum has. He has the better line mates, the better teammates to play with. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Nurse. I like some of the tough. Now, I've never said toughness is not a thing for the league. I do agree with a lot of things that he can do out there. Yeah. We're going Nurse. I keep talking myself even more onto it. So yeah, we're going Darnell.
Tyler?
I don't know. I loved Clef.
Me too.
And
Very
like
handsome.
this team with Clefbaum instead of like Cece, like fuck, they're so much closer to a cup contender.
Yep.
If the left side of your blue line is Nurse Clefbaum, are
If
you
Clefbaum's
kidding me?
here, Larson is still here.
I believe that as well too.
conversation,
Yeah. Man, it's making me sad thinking about it. I would go Clefbaum. I think he was a little bit less prone to mistakes. I like his offensive upside, like his ability to run a power play. I like it a little bit more.
The abs.
Yeah, the abs are great.
Thank you.
It's real close though, and honestly, like it's a really hard question for me to answer because I think right now they would be like two legitimate top pairing D-mans.
I've yo-yoed back and forth.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Like I'm not sure in my answer.
I would say just because this team has Tyson Barrie, I guess like that. Yeah, that would be why I want to say I want Darnell Nurse because you need that.
They have
to me,
Evan Bouchard before they have Tyson Barrie.
Well,
right now.
yeah, but Tyson Barrie is the leading scorer in the league.
Was.
Question number 4. Ask the idiots. We're working along. Is Zach Hyman the 2021 version of Ryan Smyth?
No,
Why not?
he's better.
Oh, spicy take.
Wow.
That's a hot
I didn't expect you to go there.
He's got more offense.
He's more skilled.
Like Smitty was blue collar. Smitty was get to the front. Took 1,000 cross checks to his back, a couple pucks to the face. But in terms of just stick on puck skill, I think Hyman has him beat. In terms of flat out speed, I'd assume Hyman has him beat. The heart, I'm not one to measure that. But it's tough to out Smitty when it comes to the heart. But when it comes to just talent on the ice, I believe that Hyman has him beat right now.
Dan, what do you think?
Well, the difference for me is just going to be. I'm still going to say
Your
Smyth
heart.
just because
Your heart.
Definitely my heart, but also Smyth didn't have Connor McDavid. Smyth had Doug
He had
Waite
Billy.
or Bill Guerin.
He had Rosie
as his line
He had
mates.
Chopper.
Do you think that?
He had
do you think
Pronger.
Do you think Hyman is going to do with those guys what he's doing with Connor McDavid and what he's going to do with Connor McDavid?
Well, look what he did with Austin.
Tyler?
I think you just made Dan's argument even stronger.
Tyler?
Yeah, sure. I'll say he is. Fan favorite, goes to the net, scores some goals.
What did I say?
Get a little greasy.
Fan favorite by Halloween, and here we are on October 29th, and I'm fucking nailing it. We're
But
having...
I also want to say no one ever disagreed with you on that.
Let
Everyone
me
was kinda
have
like,
my moment. Let me have my moment.
I said Connor McDavid was going to be a good player this year. Just give that to me, okay?
You know what? If he keeps it up, this kid might have a career, All right. So let us know. ON Radio Podcast. Is Hyman's Ryan Smyth? Moving along. Ask the idiots. Is Zach Kassian back, Tyler?
Yeah, he is. He's moving his feet well. He's engaging physically. He's up to his old antics. He's scoring goals and he's getting chances. I've loved what I've seen from Zach Kassian. As this is coming from a guy who would have traded him for a 3rd-round pick this summer if I was given the opportunity. So, yeah, love to see the bounce back from Zach Kassian. He's
showing that when he's on his game, he's an important part of this team. So this has been great to see, and hopefully, we're 6 games in. Going to do some math here. Hopefully we get 76 more games of this from him, and then even more in the playoffs.
I'm just going to tag on to Tyler's answer with saying, I agree. Zach Kassian's back. I would have traded him too, but he's looked great so far early in the season. He's hitting. He's doing all the things. He's blowing kisses.
Blowing kisses, man.
That's the Kassian we need. Rick, is Zach Kassian back?
Right on board with you guys there. You've seen it out there. There's a massive difference between him with the crowd, him without the crowd. Kissy face. Calgary reawoke him, I think.
Yep.
And we'll send a nice little thank you to him, because he's a very important player on this team when he's playing at his best.
Dan, big Cass.
You guys put me in a tough spot. I have to be the contrarian, and I can't.
Yeah, you don't have to be.
He's back. He's back, and I want him to just stay healthy. That's the main thing. Just stay healthy, and he can continue to be the effective player he is.
Last question for Ask the Idiots. This is for Buster's Pizza at busterspizza.ca. This morning, Morgan Riley with the Toronto Maple Leafs just signed a 8-year extension with a AAV of $7.5 million. How does that compare to Darnell Nurse's $9.25 million extension that signed earlier in the summer? Dan?
Sorry, what did he sign for?
7.5.
Yeah.
And then Darnell is in for 8 years at 9.25.
That's right.
I don't think it compares just because they are different players, but the issue was always with Darnell Nurse's was those bridge contracts. And so you bridge him into that kind of a big smoke deal, especially when Seth Jones had just signed his deal. You're in a tough spot. So I don't necessarily think they compare. I still would have Darnell Nurse over Morgan Riley. Yes.
Rick?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think I'm taking Nurse every day before Riley. I think Morgan took a bit of a pay cut.
I was surprised, actually.
And it's funny, I can't even take credit for this, but someone said on Twitter it's weird that he took the he took the pay cut and didn't go for the wins either. Like, what a guy.
Rim shot. Ba-dum-tsh. Thank you. Tyler?
Yep.
Morgan Riley 7.5 or Daryl at 9.25?
Man, $2 million or almost $2 million. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
Even in hockey terms. I'd still take Daryl. I just think, maybe you lose a little bit on the power play quarterback side of things, but I think Darnell Nurse is just a little bit of a better all-around defenseman. It's close, though. Like, if I'm starting a team and someone said, hey, you can either have Nurse at his contract or Riley at his contract, if I was like an expansion team, I'd honestly probably just flip a coin to make life easier on myself because I think it's that close.
I have a question for you then, Tyler. Mm-hmm. Morgan Riley or Oscar Klefbom healthy?
With his contract?
Yeah. Well, he would have Oscar Nurse's contract.
Oscar has Nurse's contract, but he's healthy, and I'm guaranteed the health. Klefbom.
Yeah. I guess, if you guarantee the health, that takes away a question mark from him.
People are forgetting how good Oscar Klefbom was when he was healthy. Like, he was.
You don't got to tell me, man.
He was easily their best defenseman on that playoff run in 2017. It wasn't even like that guy could log fucking minutes, and I just wish he could have stayed healthy because that's a franchise-altering thing.
Joni Pitkanen.
Should we be calling someone in Sweden right now to check up on his shoulder? Like, should we? I will. Right now, I will start hoping and praying.
Kucherov situation for us. Come on. All of a sudden, Oscar's just like, we get rumblings in like March or something. Oh, yeah, Oscar Klefbom skating over in Sweden. You're like, what?
Or has returned
shoulder pressing 350 pounds.
He comes back a month before the playoffs. Oh, baby.
No, he needs to come back game 1 of the playoffs.
Come back and start training in Edmonton, right?
Wearing the Kucherov shirt, though.
My God.
Yeah, and he's just like, I got to come back to Edmonton to get my shoulder checked with the team doctors.
Signs a deal with Bud Light ahead of time.
They're like, you walk into like a random downtown community rink and Power Play 1 is like working on shit. Klefbom's out there doing like underground practices so the NHL doesn't find out. You're like at Tipton at midnight on a Saturday.
It's like April 5th and the community rink is quiet and dark, but all of a sudden you just hear pucks ringing off crossbars and hitting the boards because Oscar Klefbom is taking
They'd be in Kate's basement playing in that rink down there or wherever he's got
wherever he needs to be. Oscar, you get there, buddy. I miss you. All right, Tyler, get your buttons ready for Deuce Vodka. It is time for the hot and cold performers of the week. Let's wrap up this here podcast. If you go to deucevodka.com, I need you to check out the store locator. It's right there. It's a little button. It says find in store. That will tell you everywhere in Alberta you'll be able to find it. And if you're in Saskatchewan, I apologize to you. But The good news is you can reach out to sales@deucevodka.com. They will help you out with finding it. Get yourself a bottle, enjoy responsibly, maybe even have yourself a Super Sunday or a Neon Nation beer like our friend Brad Speka. All right. Hot cold performers. Tyler, you got your buttons ready. I see you're at the Roadcaster. I'm starting with you, your Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week.
It's just circling back to the Chicago thing quickly. It's the passing of the buck that we've seen. Stan Bowman goes, I told other executives, and Kevin Cheveldayoff goes, well, I thought it was going to be handled. And Joe Quenneville goes, well, I was just focused on hockey. And then the Hawks put out a statement going, well, that was the then executives, not us now. And it was just kind of really annoying to see no one step up and say the two simple words, I'm sorry. And the passing of the buck in the Hawks situation, that gets my cold performer.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Even in Joel Quenneville's statement where he's like, my former team let Kyle Beach down or whatever he says.
Yeah.
Like,
no, you did, man.
You did. Nation Dan, you're next up. Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week.
My cold performer of the week is going to echo what Tyler said, but then I'll just go on to say the Seattle Kraken haters. The Kraken have been doing.
Why you don't like me?
Why we gotta love this guy? Why we gotta love this team? They're out there to steal exactly what you want to go for.
Can I do my cold performer?
No.
The Kraken haters. So people watching the Kraken do their first game, they're crapping on them for all the pregame stuff that they're not doing or they are doing. Now we got people mad at them because they put up a Stanley Cup banner, and then people are complaining because they've got a fish tradition that they're trying to start, but also including other people in it. It's not for us. So stop worrying about it and stop whining about it and just let them have their thing. Let them have their banners and whatever, and we can have some fun with it later. But Seattle Kraken haters, you're getting my cold performer of the week.
I'm very firmly on fuck the Seattle Kraken. Fuck everybody, actually. How's that?
Fair enough.
Rick, you're next up. Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week.
Oh, there's so many options here. And you know what? Kraken people, the Kraken haters, keep hating on them. I don't like them either. I'm going to give it to the league. Let's give it to the officials, man. There is like the schedule makers. There was the whole beach thing, like the PA side of things. I'm going back to the officials. I know we've beaten this like a dead horse. I don't know how many times we have to see stupid little plays on Connor that don't get called, things that get turned around and called the other way. I don't know what it takes to make this league take its officiating seriously, that has some constructive criticism to it, that holds themselves accountable for poor officiating, but they're not doing anything about it. I know they've come out and said, the cross checks or whatever this year, and hey, well, fantastic, good job. Trippings, hookings, like there's just so much shit going on out there still that you randomly select what you do and don't like. It still seems, and I don't think it's game management, but I still think it's like a little bit of game management. They haven't figured it out yet. It's been a problem for a lot of years, and until they figure it out, it's going to be on the NHL. The officials, you're the cold performers.
What the hell is going on?
My Deuce Vodka cold performer of the week is Tyler for his weird take on his water preferences. If you listen to the Real Life podcast yesterday, you would have heard Tyler talk about how he likes gritty water.
Like, this is branded Gritty? So Gritty has his own water brand?
No,
I just 50 Cent has his own water?
If you put in front of me an ice cold Brita filtered glass of water and a nice
delicious
room temperature glass of tap water, I'd take the room temperature glass of tap water.
Is it because of temperature?
Yeah, that, and I just, I like the taste of tap water.
You like
so
the
if
fluoride?
the Brita water was just room temperature, would that change your mind?
Yeah, sure, I'd drink it. But I just, I don't have a water filter. My girlfriend had one. We've stopped using it because, damn it, this is a tap water household, and we fill up our water bottles in the sink.
I watched that Bill Nye special on Netflix, and he had a water sommelier in. And the water sommelier had 3 different types of water, Tyler. They had L.A. pipe water.
Whoa. Is that tap water? Is this like weird like drips coming out of a pipe?
No, it was LA tap water, but
good.
It's full of stuff. And then they had fluoride filled water, then they had astronaut pee water because they make pee out of astronaut or water out of pee.
Yeah.
Actually, both are right.
And they drank it. So which one would you drink, Tyler?
I'd go with the LA tap water. Sounds good to me.
It's going to be a blind taste test. He's going to try all of them.
By the way, Tyler, if you ever go to Mexico, do not drink the tap water.
Stay at a hotel nice enough that they'll give you like bottles of water in the.
Yeah,
as long as it's not
We should brush your teeth, but do not go much further than that.
Oh, Dan, I like where you're going with this.
A water tasting series.
We're going to do a water
Tyler.
taste testing.
I
series.
thought we were talking about
St.
a
Albert water,
Mexico.
No.
Sherwood Park water,
Water from
Beaumont
the
water.
from the arena at the Riviera
Yes.
Cabar Arena.
No, I think next week on the podcast, I'm just going to bring in 2 bottles, one of which has tap water in it, one of which has room temperature Brita water in it. And we're going to see.
Okay.
Once and for all.
That'd be nice. That'd be fun.
Blindfold.
I like this.
Yep.
Yeah, blindfold and
This
taste
is like the
test
Pepsi Coke taste test
It's
that the
exactly-
Mollies
But
like
it's
go for.
all water.
If you have a water preference like Tyler, let us know. And in the meantime, can I have a button? Alrighty, let's wrap up this here podcast with the bright side from the last 7 days. It's time for the Deuce Vodka Hot Performers of the Week. And Rick, I'm going to start with you.
You know what? I got to go to. We're going to go, instead of taking all of them, because I think Dan might have one of these guys anyways, we're going to go to our young friend out in the Ontario Hockey League, Tyler Tulio.
Ooh.
He has 12 points, 12 assists, 15 points right now. The kid is on fire. He's given a lot of upside for these guys that are not in the top 2 teams of this organization right now. We turned it off.
He's a hot guy.
He is.
Dan, next up, Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week.
Well, Rick, you put me to shame because I don't have a prospect picked out.
Oh,
Liam is now our prospect
I was
guy.
going to give him 3 then.
But my hot performer, and I think everybody's just going to echo it, is Kyle Beach for everything that he did this week for the league, for everything he did to stand up for himself, an inspiration. And I'm just in awe. Nice button, Tyler. Nice button.
Tyler, next up, Deuce
12-foot
Vodka
putt.
Hot Performer of the Week.
I really hope this works. Zach Hyman, because he's the reason we got to hear this a bunch of times.
Almost. We got it. All right, just to wrap it up, my Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week is Connor McDavid. What else can you say about a guy who started the season with 6 multi-point games? The guy is an absolute freak. He's a unit. He's a game genie. He's playing a different game than the rest of the league.
He's built different.
Yes, he is. It's like it's almost like he should be called up to a different league above the NHL, but it just doesn't exist. So Connor McDavid, you're my Deuce Vodka Hot Performer of the Week.
And how about Bag Milk focusing through Fluxland the whole time? Didn't skip a beat.
I like it. This reminds me of living with my brother, because he used to just listen to this shit if it was 7 a.m. and he was getting ready for school, this is what he would put on.
Really?
Yeah, so it just reminds me of my brother.
Gotta get pumped up for social studies.
Gots to.
First block math.
You can't tell me you've never gone to school with Sandstorm pumping out of the
come on.
speakers in the Rumchuck mobile.
Oh, yeah.
I can say that.
There you go.
Sandstorm was not out when I was going to school.
Well, yeah, maybe you were going to the station, Tyler. That time? Yeah.
Everybody loves Sandstorm. And the goal song. So we'll just wrap it up there. This is how we're going to end.
This is a good little part at the end.
Oilers Nation Radio, episode 164. I got to say thank you to DoorDash, Oodle Noodle, Cornerstone Insurance, Deuce Vodka, Buster's Pizza, and all of you for welcoming us into your ear holes. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the Oilers game. Enjoy winning money that you learned or that you bet on from Tyler's picks.
Yep.
What do you got for us tomorrow? You got a preview yet? Or you haven't locked?
Tonight, go Caps on the puck or on the puck line. Yeah,
Puck line.
You
did win me some money yesterday,
Yeah.
so I will say thank you, Tyler.
Tomorrow, I think Oilers bounce back. I might take Oilers puck line tomorrow night.
Yeah.
There you go. There it is. Episode 164, Oilers Nation Radio. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Shout out Craig McTavish.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Real Life Podcast. Don't want to miss any of our nonsense? Hit the subscribe button and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram.